Let me ask you a very personal question. What are the idols in your life? In the case of the Israelites in 1 Samuel, they were to trash the foreign gods and the Ashtaroth to which they were holding on to. These foreign gods were most likely local or Philistine gods, and the Ashtaroth was a female fertility god that, if served, was to provide kids for you and a good crop. So understand what Samuel was calling upon the Israelites to give up in their minds. He was calling on them to give up what they currently held as the source of all of their livelihood. Not only that, they were giving up a religion that fed the most hijacked of desires. One of the ways you worshiped the Ashtaroth was through improper relationships that fed the basest of man's desires. Their temples were a mix between an altar site and a brothel. This is what they believed brought them blessing, a syncretic view of the gods, the mixing and the matching of deities to create the right combination for their lives, and they believed that Yahweh would go along with it, but He will not. And so the question becomes, what are the idols in your life? What are the idols that surround us? What is it that we worship? Is it nationalism, conservatism, affluence, wealth? What about the idol of false identity? This is the idol of the younger generation today. And what I mean by false identity is that the younger generations are finding their identities in what they can create themselves to be in the social media world so that they believe that this is their real identity. They like their virtual selves better than the reality. To them, their social identity, their virtual self, is the most important thing in their lives. But the problem isn't our phones or social media or any form of technology. It's the value and utility that we place on it that makes it a problem. When our lives revolve around how many likes we get, what our following looks like, or if we can sit in silence for 5 minutes without refreshing our news feed, well, then we may have an idol. Anything that takes the place of God in our life, anything that becomes more important than Him, is an idol. So listen, repentance is difficult. No one is saying that repentance is easy. It is costly. It calls us away from our current comfort-giving gods. It calls us to sever those tentacles that have become so entrenched in our lives, to which we have become so dependent. But repentance calls us to a greater, higher reality that we get to live in day by day. And as you pray today, please remember Pablo Munoz and his family, our Changemaker missionaries in Chile. And also remember the Donde Hamba Life Word broadcast that's heard throughout Kindande.